Well folks, it is absolutely chucking it down outside, so it seems like a good day to get the airbrush out again. Now, I've been wanting for a while to try and have another go at the Metalflake fish scale effect that I tried quite some time ago on a panel. I've got this steel panel here which I've painted black, and it has had a coat of the holographic silver Metalflake, and it's had a couple of coats of clear over the top of it, and that's been done for probably several months, but it's not been rubbed down. So the first thing to do is to give it a bit of a rub down with 600 grit wet and dry paper. Right, now it's going to be a matter of laying out a design in some tape, and I want to keep it fairly simple because I want to leave a nice big area in the middle so you can actually see the fish scale effect. So I've got my box of many sparkly bits and tapes here, and I've also got, Nikki has painted her fingernails as well. I've also got a scale rule so I can mark it out. So let's lay out the tape. There you go. As I say, I didn't want to get too crazy with the tape, but I think that's enough detail to show off what we're trying to do. So the next thing, I think, is to mark off everything that's not these open areas where the fish scale pattern will be. Actually, forget that. I'm going to mask off the big open areas first and do the areas where the fish scale's not going to be in the candy paint. I'm going to use candy gold, and I'll show you why I think that's going to be the best way to do it. Yeah, I think if I mask off these areas, then I'm going to really struggle when I pull the masking tape off not to pull this tape off. So yeah, I'm going to tape these areas up first. Right, now that's masked up pretty much how I want it and ready for spraying the gold on. But first, got to set up all the area for spraying. Right, now I'm going to use the airbrush here. I've got it set up, what have I got it set up at? Yeah, about 30 psi. So I'm going to use that to spray the solvent candy, the gold, onto the areas that aren't masked. Now, as you remember, I'm using the old eBay airbrush because I don't want to mix the solvents and the acrylics in the Iwata airbrush, because it does tend to gum it all up. Right, so there we go, that's coloured up nicely with the gold. Now I'm going to take off that masking tape and mask the other bits. I'm going to cut the mask down these bits because I'm going to want to separate them out later. So yeah, that's my plan anyway. Now the trick is going to be, I think, to reverse mask. So mask up the bit that we've already sprayed with the gold. So then we can put the red into the middle. There we go, that's all masked up now, ready for me to give that a good going over with the red candy. I want to get that a nice deep red. And don't forget, there's a selection of my airbrush paintings available on my Etsy shop. Just search in Etsy for Ttxela airbrush. I'll put a link in the description below. Now, last time when I tried to do this fish scale effect, I cut out the shield by hand with the craft knife, and very difficult to get a nice accurate cut like that. So that's part of the reason I think why I wasn't too successful. But my oldest girl has got a cry cut machine, and she cut me out quite a few different size fish scale shields. Yeah, and here they are in the box of magic. They're just cut out of the normal acetate sheets that I use. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to tape a sheet of A4 onto the back of it. Otherwise, I'll get this line with the overspray. So I'll do that, and then I'll swap over the airbrush to the Iwata airbrush, and we'll put some acrylic black in, and we'll start to do the old fish scales. Right, now I'm just going to bring in the shadow line around these areas to make it look like they're set back a bit. Right, now I'm going to remove all of that top layer of masking tape. So what I want to put in is some shadow lines here, because I want to make it look as if these are overlapping slightly, and obviously the shadow would cast over this bit here. So I'm going to remove these tape lines and then mask back up over these bits. Right, hopefully this will work. Right, then I'm just going to bring in those shadow lines there and there. Right, now it's time to remove all the tape. So there we go, that is the completed panel ready for some clear coat. In actual fact, I've just noticed that these lines go through the shadow where that last bit of tape come off. So I'm going to mask up this again, I think, and just blow a little bit more black on there. Right, well, it's the next day and I've got my lacquer in a nice bucket of hot water ready to do the clear coating, and we'll do that in exactly the same way as we've done before. Well, it's another day later, and in the light of the kitchen lights, you can see the orange peel effect on that lacquer, even though I did my best to try and get it nice and smooth. I guess out of an aerosol can, it's never going to be fantastic. But anyway, I'm going to try rubbing it down with the wet and dry paper. I'm going to start with 600 grit, work the way down to the finest one I got, which is 2500, and I'll probably use my quart block for at least some of it. See, what I'm looking for when I dry that off is, see those dark spots in the lacquer? They're the low bits that the wet and dry paper hasn't touched, so that's where it's still uneven. You see there's some on that edge close to my wrist. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get rid of as much of that as I can without going all the way through the lacquer. Well, there we go. That's what it looks like taken down to 2,500 grit. There is a bit of a low point there, and that's where the loop is welded on the back. A little bit of slight distortion of the plate. Anyhow, now we're going to go on to the cut-in paste and a final polish. So there we go, the finished article, all polished up and sparkly sparkly. Well, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends. Give the like button a press. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see some more.